What glitch in the system went unnoticed, so you keep exploiting it? A while back a company had a promotion to join their free club mailing list. If you submitted content, you would get points. If you referred someone, you would also get points. Once you got a, rather stupidly, large amount of points, you could redeem them for company merchandise or Amazon gift cards. Well, back then I also had a handful of domains at my disposal. So I set up a catch-all email address at the domains and made a script to make and activate accounts with me as the main referral. This was before captchas really became widespread. I ran the script simultaneously in the 2 computers I had. A week later I had accumulated enough for $2,000 in Amazon gift cards and cashed out. Good thing I cashed out then because my account was banned the next day and they no longer gave points for referrals. I think I single-handedly destroyed that promotion. Sorry guys. Back in the day there was an awesome mod called Dragon's Gate on AOL that was something like $2 an hour to play. It had a great community and was a lot of fun. This was in dial-up days, so if you purposely slowed your connection down by downloading something and logging into the game you could hit the spacebar on the sign-in screen a shitload of times and it would open up 2 screens. Just close the first one and it signs you out while still being connected and you can play through the second screen for free. The best part was all the hate from the other people on the forums when the glitch finally got outed. I knew a guy in college, went from 88 to 92, who had perfected the method of inserting a dollar bill into a pop machine and then quickly yanking it out, without tearing it, when it was about 3/4 of the way in. The machine would register being paid, allow him to choose a soda, and give him 50 cents in change. He'd do this multiple times and collect about 2 12 packs and then pay for a delivered pizza in quarters. Yes, he was poor. I have a lot of traffic lights on the first mile or 2 of my drive to work, so I leave at 6:55. I get to work 15 minutes early because I catch blinking yellows. I used to leave at 7 o'clock and get there just on time and any extra traffic made me late. I've been gaming the free stuff for your birthday racket for several years. Most of the restaurants and businesses don't check for your actual birth date, so I use different months with different businesses so the discounts meals are spread through the year. In high school I would go to the attendance office and say I needed to go home. The attendance lady would give me the phone to call my dad so she could talk to him to verify. I would instead call my deep voice friend and he would excuse me. Then he would go in about 30 minutes later and call me. Worked over 20 times and we were never caught. Best part, it didn't count as a missed class because it was excused. Nice, you got out of a free education. One vending machine at my school would give you $4.50 in change when purchasing a $2.50 bottle of pop with a $5 only. 10, 20 gave correct change. $0.50 for a bottle of pop. Yes please. I once bought a $1.50 bag of chips from a vending machine. I paid with a toonie, Canadian $2 coin, and it gave me back 10 quarters, $2.50 in change. So I made $1 off of a bag of chips. When I was 7 on Halloween, I dressed as Batman then hit all the houses on my neighborhood. It was only 8 o'clock so I dressed up as Spider-Man and got all the houses again. Double the candy M. I miss all the candy so I'm thinking on trick or treating this year. Not proud of it, but when I was 12 I noticed that some foreign coins worth about a cent would pass for quarters in arcade machines. I'm guessing that would be the Chinese 1 yuan coin, nearly identical to a quarter. I just got 2 in a roll of quarters the other day, but they did bot work in the pinball machine I was playing. My Sprint phone gave me a Wi-Fi hotspot without me paying for it for about a year. I updated the firmware and lost the functionality, so I called Sprint to ask what was wrong. I was supposed to be paying for the Wi-Fi ability, $30 a month, and the lady asked if I had been using it for the past year. I hung up, saved myself $360 without even knowing. This is the sole reason some people root their devices. My old job had a pretty high turnover in terms of managers, so none of them really had time to learn the intricacies of our building nor the abundance of legacy and experimental job titles that people had been assigned. As the lone stockroom attendant I used my knowledge of the basements and the fact that no one, including me, knew what the heck I was supposed to be doing to go have naps or generally hide and do nothing for most of the day. My college gave out 10 free condoms if you show school ID, but they don't scan it or anything. So sometimes on the weekends I would come in every 20 minutes getting more and more condoms until I had a stockpile. Then at night, I would go around to parties selling them $1 each. I would never just buy a condom from some guy at the party. Who knows how many holes he poked in them. When I was 13-14, I had a sweet tooth and no money for sating it. Luckily, all the kids at the private school I went to did have money, so my best friend and I devised a plan to separate them from that money. Every morning before school, we'd go into the local co-op, buy various snacks, chocolate bars, flapjacks, crisps etc. Take them to school in our bags, then run a small black market out of our lockers during breaks. There were no vending machines in the school, and very few snacks available from the refectory, so we were completely in control of the market, and made a lot of money. One year, this went into overdrive for Easter, making us over 400% our usual profit due to a pricing error at the co-op. 6 Cadbury's cream eggs were being sold for £3.99, giving us a £2 profit when we sold them for £1 each to our eager peers. But 12 cream eggs were only £3.69, giving us over £8 profit per pack, and with cream eggs being a seasonal item they were immensely popular at school. After a month or so, regrettably, someone picked up on the error and corrected it in their system. When we walked up to the till with 4 12 packs each, we discovered they were now priced at £6.99, as I assumed they should have been all along. Luckily, when our faces fell and we explained, it said they were only £3.69 on the shelves. The cashier rang them up at their shelf price. The next day they were back to their usual price though, on the shelves and system. So we went back to our old ways of scamming slightly less money out of our peers. To be fair, you weren't exactly scamming them. I mean, you do what every store ever does. Sell goods at a markup in exchange for convenience. There was a gumball machine at the grocery store that would spit out 4+ pieces of candy if you turned the crank really slowly. Yes, some old ones had a very simple scoop and dump mechanism and they just locked after a revolution. So if you held it just right, there would be a hole there and you could shake a ton of candy out. Not really a glitch, but I found out I could fit my arm into the vending machine at college and pretty much clear out the bottom shelf. You wouldn't download a car. Purchased a 3-day trial for a website. Cancelled it on the 3rd day. Access to the site remained active for the next 7 years. All I get from my internet provider is internet, but they do provide cable TV. So I thought, what would happen if I plugged my internet cable line into my TV? Well, now I get basic cable for free, like 50-70 channels. Never use it though. Children think Netflix is the way TV is supposed to be. Frick all them commercials and not picking exactly what you want on TV. That's possibly a feature and not a bug. In exchange for being allowed to dig holes etc., cable companies were required to broadcast local channels unencrypted. Usually they toss in a few extra channels. Fish and chips shop near house. Gumball machine inside. Put money in. Turn for 9 clicks. Hold dial in position. Flick a few times just underneath the dial. Turn for 1 more click and hold in position. Gumballs will continue to be released for as long as you hold it there. $1 equals unlimited gumballs. I can't do it anymore, but there was a cool website to buy clothing from that used to allow us to stack promo codes and we would get their very overpriced goods for little money when they would have sales. It's scale tipping and vending machine forcing. Sam's Club once gave out a coupon that gave $5 off any cheese. All of their cheese at that point came in sub $5 increments and they didn't take the coupon at the end. They only scanned it. That weekend was the first wine and cheese party I hosted. Hope you get the same coupon for condoms. I used to work for a web host. We had a referral program that tracked your customers by cookie. I had set up a referral site for myself and showed a coworker without thinking about it. From then on, whenever a customer would sign up over the phone with him, it earned me about $50. I bought a monthly bus pass about 1.5 years ago, and because the drivers don't even check it, I've been using the expired pass and haven't had to pay anything for around 14 months. This has saved me about £1,800. so it ain't too shabby. We have people who do this in San Francisco. I think the drivers are just too lazy to check. Sadly, so many people do it that the bus system is constantly broke and keeps having to cut services. Sad. Worked at a popular pizza chain some years ago. Automated phone system had a glitch that told customers we were closed an hour before we did closed. It never corrected it because I can do tasks to close the store on time. Glitch. Not attending school anymore, but when I was 10, we had a vending machine for goods with a warning that said, "Do not tilt the vending machine. You may hurt yourself." We did tilt it once only to realize if you tilted it and bought something, you would receive more goods, while only paying for one. Using our new knowledge, we eventually took all the good stuff from the machine, only to sell it to our friends at lower price than the original and earning money that way. When I was a kid, the soda machine at the pool didn't recognize when you would hit the coin return. You could just cycle the same dime through the machine enough times and then make your selection, then even get your dime back. I had a Pepsi machine at college that ate people's change returns. I figured out how to get it unstuck and usually ended up with a soda and $4 every time I went to it. My first job in high school. I'm a habitually early person, so I found out that the time clock system would let me clock in 5 minutes early. I later found out that I could then clock out 10 minutes early and I'd be paid for all 5 hours. Another guy, older man, worked 8-hour shifts and would save his 2 15-minute breaks, union job, and half-hour lunch and do his shopping for the week in his last hour. Now, I'm a truck driver. I'm home every day, so I don't really need the half-hour break we have to take. So I take one that logs in my book as a half hour. For example, 307-323. I think this is a glitch the company may know about, as so many local people talk about it. Okay, the shop is Waitrose in the UK. Big chain supermarket. They do various deals where a product is £5, but if you buy 3 then you get it all for £10. Now the glitch works when they reduce the product as its expiry date is near. So now the product is down to £1, regularly less. The thing is, if you still buy 3 at the reduced price, the offer still kicks in and it takes £5 off your bill. The last time I did this, I noticed that a bag of potatoes was reduced to 0.30p, but it was buy 3 for £5. I ended up buying 9 bags of potatoes and got the rest of my shopping for free. Wine, beer, pizza all free. You just have to make sure your bill does have a positive balance in the end, even if it is only pennies. I go down near closing time 3/4 nights a week and get this deal. It doesn't always get you extra free stuff, but you do usually get the 3 products for free. The products can be fresh meats, veg, fruit and pre-made meals like spag bol and pizza. There was a glitch on the Morrison self-checkout where if you scanned 2 items too close to each other it would add the weight of both but not the price. You could then place both items down on the weighing scale and only one would show on the screen. The machine would ask for help if you didn't put both items down. I found this out by accident and used it whenever I could, which was not very often. In Counter-Strike Source, you can get outside the map in D Piranesi and CT Spawn. I sometimes just glitch outside of it and kill people from spawn. It freaks a lot of people out. You monster. I had paid for a relatively slow internet connection, but I used to get about 10 times faster internet with unlimited data. It was fun for a while. I wrote a program in Python that pretty much does my job for me the first day I went there. I do nothing at work all day besides Reddit and fun side projects with code. I got a TI-85 calculator from a thrift store for $1. I'd do the same thing with math school work. If I know the material well enough to write a program to do it on my calculator, I figured that was good enough. Free glasses from Coastal.com. They have a first pair free deal, so you just keep making new Gmail addresses and use the coupon code. They don't check the shipping address, plus you can claim it's for family members or roommates. All you have to pay for is shipping. I have like 5 pairs. I have a 25% off code that I use for travel I book online fairly often. It was supposed to only be valid for a specific time period. That time period went over a year ago and the code still works fine on the website. I get 25% off my travel every time. I think my free 6-month trial of Amazon Prime for students was supposed to end about 5 years ago. I'm still a student so I don't feel too bad about it. They're probably charging you with you noticing. In early college, some friends and I were in the student union food court getting some frozen treats from a vending machine. We noticed the digital screen that usually says insert bills face up or whatever said test vend. Basically, you'd push a button and it'd just give you that selection without putting in any money. We got so many ice cream bars that we were giving them away to random students as we passed by. When I was in college, the sign-up system for classes was paper-based. You could get into any closed section by having your buddy drop that section, even if he wasn't taking it. Also, there was a men's room at the head of the line. Sometimes right before the doors opened for registration, there would be 50 people in that men's room. The train to my work and back costs £3.40 a day and the machines have had trouble taking change in the past, so for about 5 months I decided not to pay for a ticket. The fine for not having a ticket is £20. As long as I don't get caught for a week and a day I'm golden. That was until they decided to put more inspectors on the trains. Geez, that's alright. Our fine for no ticket is $217. Recently they have introduced the option to pay an on-the-spot fine of $75 if you waive your right to appeal. The wire coil for C45 is bent in my college's vending machine. Every day I get 2 tubes of fruit pastels for the price of 1. When I got to uni I was paying for 10 millibars down capped internet, but I think if someone changed their plan they would uncap everyone in the building. I have no idea why. So every so often if I was paying attention I could take advantage of like 150 millibars down to download all my games. The old self-service machines at Tesco where I live would sometimes give you more change if when you paid you put in a note that would cover it and then some more coins. You'd get your coins back, along with your change and maybe some more random coins. I got emailed a free pizza coupon back in college since I was working as a student teacher during Teachers Week. The email said print out and redeem the coupon at your local pizza store. The coupon had a 2-month expiration date on it, but no mention of the limit of times I was supposed to print it out. I ended up with several dozen free pizzas. Definitely was a blessing to a college kid. I used to work part-time in a crappy little call center. I had the option to work full-time, but I told them that my school schedule would get in the way, which it did, until I dropped out about a month after getting the job. Anything over 20 hours a week was considered overtime, so I'd get 1.5x pay for those hours. While I was not eligible for benefits, there was no limit to how much overtime one could work, so I worked a lot of overtime. Because after dropping out of school, my schedule was completely cleared. I'd pull 7-day weeks with 12-hour days, and nobody seemed to notice for 4 months. While I was only making $9 HR there, I was getting paychecks that had $2,088 before taxes. For being 19 and working in a call center with no real work experience, I was pretty dang satisfied. When I was in high school they used the STI attendance system. I figured out if I was marked here for 3 periods it would count as half a day. Then I relied on the old Einquest here I saw him earlier today thing. I missed more days than I went my senior year. I got caught because I took my friend once and the vice principal was waiting on us. They only had me absent for like 8 days. TLDR. Exploited attendance system in high school. STI, period. If you do a first goal scorer bet on Will Hill and the player doesn't start, you get your stake back. No lose betting on super sub forwards to get a winner in the final minutes. That's just first scorer bets though. If they don't start, you get your stake back. Same thing if they're a sub but the first goal is scored before they are brought on as a sub. Stake back. There's a coffee machine in a post office near where I live. You can fit a large inside a regular cup. Then just pay for a regular. It overflows a tiny bit so you have to be quick with the napkin and make sure nobody is looking. A friend told me about it and I tried it. It was filling up and I thought it was gonna totally overflow. But no, it was cool. Serves them right for charging so much for crappy filter coffee. You see, I don't really get that. I mean only time I see self-serve coffee machines are at gas stations and they just charge based on the size of your cup. The machines themselves just fill as long as you hold the button. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.